Today, I'm going to show you how exactly to build an AI agent in Claude Code in 6 steps, literally in under 10 minutes. So let's go. To start, you want to navigate to Claude Code in the desktop app or in the terminal. Today, I'm using the terminal. Simply install Claude Code. I have full instruction guides in the link in description. And then once you're in Claude Code, you want to set up your Claude.md. So there's 2 ways you could go about this. First, you could just type in /command in it, and this will initialize your Claude.md file. But I have a prompt for you that you can input. And essentially, it's going to take the best practices from Boris Cherny, who is the creator of Claude Code, and effectively help you build out your Claude.md following his best practices with your own workflow logic and personalization. So I've already set this up, but simply this prompt will use Boris's Claude.md as a starting template. Then it's going to ask you a series of questions about your business, your voice, your output defaults, because ultimately, you don't need to be an engineer to use Claude Code. You can use it however you like. I use Claude Code for content, and this is exactly what my Claude.md has been built out to do. Once you've answered those questions, Claude Code will create a local file on your machine that it will essentially read every time you start a new session. So this is your template. This is your brief. This is exactly how you want to use Claude Code. Do not skip this step. Next, we actually want to build some memory out. So I have another prompt for you here. Essentially, what this prompt does is that it's asking Claude, from now on, every time I correct you or tell you something, save it into a separate MD file, which is basically your memory. So Claude will make mistakes. It will take some time to ramp up your Claude.md. So once you set that up, it will create a local memory file. So this is my memory folder. Ultimately, it has the core memory file, which is basically the key things that I want it to remember. And it's quite extensive. You know, it's 155 lines here. But besides that, we also have a ton of individual memories whereby I've critiqued Claude on very specific things about what it's doing, specifically when I'm creating content that I want it to remember for future. So ultimately, we're building a compounding system that gets smarter and smarter over time, which is incredibly useful because I can imagine a lot of you have re-explained yourself to AI again and again and again. This is the one way to prevent it from happening. So next, let's build a skill. This skill will become incredibly useful when building out our AI agent because now we have how we work, we have our memory and feedback. Now we want to build out that specific workflow that we want our agent to undertake. So I have another prompt which you can access via the link in description. What this will do will build out a Claude skill for you. All you have to do is give it a name and to describe the workflow. That's pretty much it. So for the purpose of this demo, let's go for something like, I want to build out a Claude skill which essentially identifies any important messages that I need to reply to in Notion, Gmail, and Slack. And that's all it takes, is simply a clear vision of exactly how you need Claude to help. And then providing you have all the MCP servers pre-configured and wired, which if you don't, it's very simple. Claude will guide you through the process to get them enabled. Then essentially it's going to build out this specific /command for you. So I set this up just before recording. Mine's called needs reply. So now it's saved here. When I type in / into Claude Code, it will come up with all the various /commands that I've built. So let's run it. And essentially, as you can see, it's pulling from Gmail, it's pulling from Slack and also Notion, the predefined MCP servers that I asked it to pull from. Now it's provided me with a full list of all the priorities and things that I need to reply to from those relevant channels that I mentioned. We can take this a step further and then get Claude to essentially automatically send this to me via email, Slack, whatever channel I prefer. But this is just one example. Now, if you wanted to build this into an agent team, then I have another prompt for you that you can use to build out your first AI agent in Claude Code with no code, just using natural language. Okay, so then this next one is going to build an agent team around your specific process. All you have to do is simply describe the process. So let's build upon that existing skill that we just built out. For example, we could say, I want to build out an agent team that essentially takes the things that I need to reply to, check it against my priorities and things that are important to me right now, and then provide me with a summary in Gmail that I can reply to these decisions fast without having to manually go through all of my DMs and inboxes. And the good thing about this prompt is that it's going to build out a QA agent. Ultimately, if we let AI do the thing for us and there's no evaluation, then it will make mistakes. So this QA gate of 95 out of 100 ensures that the AI is self-critiquing its own work and actually doing a good job overall. And just through natural language and the prompts that I provided you with, Claude's now building out an agent team for us. And essentially we've built upon the Claude.md, the memory, the skill to then create a team of agents which are contextualized and personalized to our business needs. And the cool thing about this is that you don't need to provide a ton of instructions. For example, Claude's building out another MD file here, which is basically going to prioritize what I'm currently working on based on the various MCP connectors that I hooked it up with. And that's the thing, most of the time we can just tell Claude to do something, it's smart enough to figure it out and to build out the actual systems to help us. And essentially Claude has now built out the full agent team for us. It's using a variety of MD files and different models here. It's using Opus for the more high level judgment stuff, and then Sonnet just to execute tasks, simply to save tokens. And then it's built out the full pipeline. So now, if we wanted to make this something that runs on Autopilot, then we can implement one of the newer features in Claude Code. So again, I have another prompt that you can use to make this process as simple as possible for you. Simply what we're asking Claude to do here is to build a Claude routine, which is basically a cron job that runs in the cloud. So prior to Claude releasing routines about a month ago, you couldn't automate anything in Claude Code without having your desktop open. But now with Claude routines, you can automate these tasks using Anthropic's cloud servers. So essentially what this does is that it will ask you when you want this specific cron job to run. So simply we could just say something like, I want it to run every single day at 7 a.m. So essentially now Claude's built out the routine for us all through natural language using an agent team, a variety of MCP servers that will automatically run in the cloud without us having to be there. And you can do this for almost any use case within your business, because as long as there's an API or an MCP server available, you can automate it with Claude Code. So this is probably the simplest solution that I found for personally building out autonomous AI agents within Claude Code. If you want access to all of the prompts that I ran through today, just click the link in the description below and you'll get access to all of them for free. So I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you liked it, just make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you again next week.